basically saying that we are part of nature. And that, if we are taken from nature, we may have consequences. And natural law is all about consequences. It is also essentially known as the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction, the karma or moral law, or the golden rule. And all these are very similar to one another, because what you give off, you receive back. Okay, so going through it, natural law can be, quote, effect invariably follows cause, or, quote, for every action there exists an equal and opposing reaction. Quote, the energy you emit is the energy you attract. Quote, energy flows where attention goes. Quote, as you think, feel, and act, so you shall be. Quote, you reap what you sow. Quote, do unto others as you would have done to yourself. And therefore, because I mentioned natural law already, I think it's important to understand more of what I mean. So these are slides by Mark Passio, who is somebody who teaches others on natural law. I suggest you check out his full lectures on this if you really want to know more in depth about how this works, right? Because natural law can teach us a lot, especially if it's the innate intelligence of the world. So let's put this into simple if-then logic, as it says in his slide, okay? And his lectures, you can look it up on his website, whatonearthishappening.com, or you can go to our website, of course, and see where it is as well. It says, if a particular man-made law is in harmony with natural law, then it follows logically that it is redundant, since it is stating a truth that is inherent, pre-existing, and self-evident. Therefore, it is both irrelevant and unnecessary, right? And then if a particular man-made law is in opposition to natural law, then it follows logically that it is both false, which is incorrect, and immoral, which is harmful, or in other words, wrong. Therefore, it cannot be legitimately binding upon anyone, right? So what this is basically saying is that if man's law is basically truth, well, truth is already present. So what is it doing except is telling us what's already innately true? So why do we need a paper telling us that? For example, look at the Constitution, right? Freedom of speech. You already have freedom of speech. Okay? And then if it's not something that is based in truth, well, then it's just an opinion. And then as you can see from this photo, we have natural law compared to man's law. Natural law is based upon principles and truth. It's inherent to creation. It's harmonized with due to knowledge and understanding, as we previously mentioned. It is universal, therefore it exists and applies anywhere in the universe, regardless of location. It is eternal and immutable, exists and applies for as long as the universe exists, and it cannot be changed. Whereas man's law is basically everything much of the opposite. It's based upon dogmatic beliefs, constructs of the mind. It is compiled with due to fear of punishment. It differs with location based upon the whim of the legislators, which is moral relativism. And it changes with time based upon the whim of legislators, which is moral relativism. So it's something that is basically assured to not work over time. It is something that maybe will only work in certain scenarios or by majority rule, is still not all the people, and it's not based in truth. So what is the worth actually to it if it especially does more harm over time than good? And is the role here to reduce harm as the primary objective? I'd say it is, right? We're not trying to control the planet. We're not trying to take control of everything. We're just trying to control ourselves as intended. We're trying to just live our lives away from the government, which has committed more crimes than anyone, because we know for a fact that governments of the past have killed millions of people. So, I mean, this is just fact. And if you disagree with that, I'd like to know why, because natural law is something that's inherent and not man-made. It's something that isn't only temporary. It is always existent. And then based on what we talked about with knowledge, on just some of the few quotes that we had, it says on Mark Passio's slide, since human beings as a species do not already have the things they say they want, it follows logically that the knowledge of the requirements to obtaining the things they say they want either must be absent, or if present, that knowledge must be willfully ignored, right? By ignorance, ignorance, right? Because they're ignoring what is in plain sight. So, right off the bat, would you say that most of the truth is hidden? Or is it just being willfully ignored? Are we being distracted from it and we refuse to see what is in plain sight? So then it says, as long as this knowledge continues to remain unknown or ignored, the manifestation of the desired conditions will be impossible. Because again, we cannot make a proper diagnosis of the disease. Okay, because it requires that we identify and know what is happening. And we know the requirements to obtaining what we want. So there's requirements to healing the body. There's requirements to losing weight. There's requirements to achieving what we want. And if we choose not to use them, then yes, we are ignoring them. But if they're not there to begin with, then okay, they're absent. Now, an important part of knowledge, you would assume, would probably be the brain then, right? The worldview schism, as is said by Mark Passio's slides. Now, again, I'm just doing a brief overview of some of the things that he said. And you have on the left side as the left brain, and you have on the right side determinism as the right brain. And we obviously need a balance of both of all things, to create a balance in this world, a balance and a harmony and integration, as I previously mentioned. That is going to be the truth. So while you have extremes on both ends of the spectrum, the truth always lies somewhere between. So when we have a positive expression toward natural law, toward the natural rhythms of this universe, that is love, that is being conscious. That is having knowledge, which is acceptance of the truth. Okay, that is having sovereignty, which is ruling over yourself as intended. That is having freedom because it's meant to be there. And we make our order out of this this harmonization because we are harmonizing ourselves with truth. Okay, we're not harmonizing ourselves with this dogmatic religion of government. We're harmonizing with what is basically innate, what is eternal, what is right for human existence. Therefore, anything that would be a negative expression would be the opposite. It would be fear, which is why they live off of it and base a lot of the media on fear. It would be ignorance, which is, people not accepting truth. Okay, and then there's confusion, there's control. Right, obviously the media creates a lot of confusion, a lot of social media creates a lot of confusion. There's control when you have divide and conquer, everybody against each other. There's more reach for control, and then there's chaos because of that. There's a lot of deaths that happen, again, from government. There's a lot of, distortions when it comes to distraction, when it comes to saying you have to do this, you have to do that. Is that really order, or is it chaos because it's not based in truth? And what is truth is something that we have to question, because truth has evil. We know that, right? But what is actually manifesting in the world? Is it a mostly positive expression or a mostly negative expression? Where is most people's mentality? Because that's what's going to set us up for our future generations, for what is right and for what is wrong, right? Don't we want to live in a world that is right, that is beautiful, that is full of love? Well then, yes, we should probably harmonize ourselves with the natural law. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe, like, and do whatever you wish. It's up to you. You are free in this life, and if you want to know how to change the world truly, please, I encourage you to check out my website, Nita.one. It's here for all of us, actually. It's not my website. It is my website, but it isn't. It's here for us all. We're all messengers. We're all fellow human beings. Let's change the world truly, and we can do it with Nita.one. Nature's the answer.